Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're from. This is Kavita Ramchand from Life Success Coaching in Mauritius. So, we are continuing to read the book You Were Born Rich. I'm on chapter 9, and this chapter for me is, I think, the best. It is called Don't Think in Reverse. Why I say this is for me the best? Because I was somebody who was always never thinking in reverse. I was a go getter, forward thinking, until I got such a blow in life due to the death of my younger brother that I stayed where I was while life continued to move and I just refused to budge. And you know what happens when you do that? Life just leaves you and go and you stay stuck over there. And I was stuck for 9 years. So when I invested in my own education of the mind and understood how powerful my mind is, I was able to cure myself from depression. So here I am to tell you that I believe in this information like with every cell of my being, that this works, that we all have a magnificent mind, and if we learn how to harness our own power, we can achieve anything we want in our life. If we think in forward forward mode. That's why this chapter is so important, because the moment you start thinking in reverse, I started to question, why did my brother die? I was so sad. I was so angry. I said, what's the point of living? He passed away at 29. I said, we also have to go anytime. We don't even know what's the point of living. And because I asked that question, I think the universe, I don't think, I know that the universe hears when you ask a question, and the answer comes in the form of an experience. So, my going into depression was part of the process to come out of it so that I could sit here today and explain this to the world. In fact, I want to tell everybody that life is very, very simple, because I find a lot of people struggling, which is not necessary. All we need to have is faith, even if we cannot see the future. We should not be living in fear of the future. We should not be living in worries and, all those things, because your body is a molecular structure. It's an instrument of your mind. So if your mind is a negative state of being, it'll affect your body, because I know for a fact that I went through so many ill health issues due to my mind thinking in the negative, entertaining negative ideas, entertaining anger, entertaining grief. So I am a perfect example of a product who was very forward thinking, who got so stuck and who came out of it and came out with a quantum leap, so that I can discover my life's purpose to teach this to the world. So hence I'm living on purpose, and I want to ask you a question. Are you living on purpose? Do you know what is your life's purpose? And I would say, even if you're going through hard times, think of that as part of the process that is leading you towards your purpose. But of course, I won't say it's easy. It's simple, it's not easy. And if you are interested to invest in your own coaching, in your own mindset coaching, because that's where the power is, in the mind, you can always connect with me. I'm available on Facebook, I'm here on YouTube, you can leave a comment. So let's continue with the reading session. So now, if you have missed the previous sessions, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can look up the previous readings. I do it in English, I do it in Creole, the local language here. You can find the English version. So, the pioneering spirit of men and women of all faiths, creeds, and color has been put to great use. Those praiseworthy individuals were able to look into the future to see what could be rather than what already was, and then they ignored those who scoffed and said it couldn't be done. Also, understand that all great achievers always expect to do things and then they turn around and they do them. Do not be misled by your sensory factors. We are endowed with the same basic mental tools such as the Wrights, the Edisons, and the Bells possessed. And we all have the God given ability to employ those tools just as they did. All of us have been blessed with the mental capacity to gaze into the future and to see our lives in a richer and more satisfying state. Isn't that great to know that you have actually been blessed with tools that can help you create your own future? I find that like magical. You know, you can do anything you want. You just have to first accept the idea. And the thing is that our education system has brainwashed us so much to look at our results and let that dictate the way we think. Not only our, I won't even say just our education system, our culture, our homes, our parents. And we cannot go and blame anybody about it today. When I realized that I wanted to blame the world, I was like, why didn't I get this knowledge when I just was born? But because they were also conditioned to think in reverse. And it's never too late. It's never too late. We can always decide to change the way we think. And if we do, and if we start to understand the way our mind works and bring order to our mind, oh my God, you can create the life of your dreams. So these people have done it, right? And they didn't let the fact that there was no aeroplane before dictate to them that an aeroplane cannot be built. I mean, there were no lights before. We used to use candles. There were no telephones before. But all these things, how did they come about? Did you ever stop and think about that? It's not that these people have extra powers than you. We are all the same. We've all been blessed with the same power. Then why not? Why are some people achieving great things in life, getting into world record history, while some people are still living in poverty in some areas of the world? Why? These are important questions that we need to ask ourselves, you see? Because he says here, we've all been blessed with the mental capacity to gaze into the future and to see our lives in a richer and more satisfying state. That's so good. That tells me that everyone can live in peace and harmony in the world. We don't need to have wars going on. Doesn't make sense. There's only one war that we need to fight. That's the war going inside our mind. The voice that tells us you can do something, and the other voice that will tell you you cannot do something. The one who will win is the one you give power to. And you will give power to it if you grew up around people who were like that. My mother has always been a forward thinker. And I've been a lot inspired by her. And that's when I discovered what faith is all about. Because it's so easy to say, no, I cannot do something when I don't see how I can do it, right? And then comes the fact that you know you have the power to do it. You cannot see the power. You cannot see faith. You cannot see fear. But they are both real. Which one will you choose? That's the question. Therefore, regardless of the present circumstances in which you find yourself, clearly understand that if you can build the image of something new in your mind, something that far surpasses anything that has occurred up until now, you have the ability to realize that result in the physical world. It could not be more clear. All of us have been born rich in the sense of having a magnificent God given potential which we owe ourselves to nurture. And here I would say this is a responsibility. I really see it like that. The fact that you've been given such a wonderful mind, such a magnificent mind, and going through life without even understanding how to use it, what's the point? What's the point of you being born a human being? Because nobody else, as far as we know, in creation has been blessed with a mind like ours. The world is moving at a very, very fast pace. If we don't move with the world, we're going to be left behind. And to sit and cry about what has passed, I discovered this knowledge at age 40. It was late. For me, it was late. It was midlife, man. That's the age I'm getting this. But it's never too late. It's never too late. Until you're alive, it's never too late. So I feel everyone should actually invest in learning about their own magnificent mind. That's what I teach in my coaching because I know that everyone has that potential to achieve anything they want. I told you at the beginning of this class, this session, that I came out of depression. It's like, you have a doctor inside of you that can heal you. And yet we are seeing so many diseases on the rise in the world. That doesn't make sense, right? That doesn't make sense. We are seeing so many people suffering in the world. We don't need to have a war today. Each one is meant to create such a beautiful world. We are all unique. What you have come to create, what I have come to create, what everyone has come to create, it's we cannot even think what somebody can create. Where has that gone? Where has that education gone where every single human being is a creator, a co-creator? You can create your own destiny. Are we believing that? Because until we don't believe it, we're not going to be willing even to even understand anything. So I'm going to leave you with this idea that you're born for greatness. Are you willing to accept that? Are you willing to live your highest potential? Because you can. And if you need help, I'm always there. I'm a life transformation coach. I became one because my life transformed. Otherwise, I was nicely working at my shops, earning a good living. But then I felt there's a responsibility here. Not only why I felt that responsibility is because I transformed my life and I knew that I have a responsibility to help others do the same, right? And why? Because the children are at stake. We can only pass on to our children what we know, what we believe, what we live. I cannot tell my son don't do something if I'm not doing it myself, right? So that's my responsibility towards me, towards my children, and towards my society because we are all one. We all have the same potential. The day I realized this, I decided I needed to become a coach because I discovered my life's purpose and I'm living it every single day. And I'm not telling you this out of thin air. I'm a product of it. That's why I'm so confident about it that if I can do something like that, you can too. So, there, I'm going to leave you with this idea and I'll see you next week. Thank you very much for being here. Bye bye.